solvete omnes. Hodie legemus partem quattordecem de libro quius nomen est Ritchie's Fābulae Facilēs. Incipiamus. Quattordecem, the music lesson. Hercules a puero corpus sum diligenter exercebat. Magnum partem dii in palestra consumebat. Didicit etiam arcum intendere et tela conicere. His exercitationibus viris ius confirmatae sunt. In musica etiam a lino centauro erudiebatur. Centauri autem equi erant sed caput homines habebat. Huic temen arti minus diligentur studebat. Hic Linus Herculem olem obiergabat, quod non studiosos erat. Tum, puer iratus, Cytharum subitur rapuit, et omnibus viribus caput magistri infelicis percusset. Ille ictu prostratus est, et Paulo post e vita excesset. Neque quisquam postea id officium suscipere voluit. So Hercules was training diligently, diligenter, we've got that little inter ending, tipping us off that it's an adverb. His body, corpus sum, and remember, corpus is from corpus corporis. It's a third declension neuter noun, so the accusative has the same form as the nominative. So this is the accusative. So he was training his body, corpus sum, a puero, from boyhood. We get a little note there. That's in the ablative. Magnum partem dii in palestra consumebat. So he was consuming, or he was spending, a great part, magnum partem, of the day. We've got a little footnote for that too. Dies is a fifth declension verb. I'll throw the declension, it's a noun. I'll throw the declension up on the screen. So he was spending a great part of the day in the wrestling courts. Also, etiam, he learned, didicit, to intendere arcum, to stretch out a bow, would be the literal translation. You could translate this as to shoot a bow. Et tela conicere, and to throw spears. We've got telum is neuter, so tela is plural, and in this case it's accusative. His exercitationibus viris ius confirmatae sunt. So the subject of this sentence is vires, which might make you think of men, but it's not. It's actually a plural form of vis. You get a little text note here. And vis is a fairly irregular noun. I'll throw it up on the screen here. So literally this would be his strengths, confirmati sunt, were strengthened. In English, we don't really think of strengths as being a plural, so we'd translate that as his strength was strengthened by these exercises. So his exercitationibus, that's in the ablative. Also, etiam, in musica, in music, he was being instructed or was being taught. Note, the tur ending tips us off that this is a passive verb. So Hercules isn't doing the instructing, he's the one being instructed. And the ba there tips us off that this is an imperfect. So he was being instructed by whom? Alino Centauro, by Linus the centaur. So that's in the ablative. Then we get this little parenthetical statement. You could almost leave out autem here because it doesn't really translate well. I would just put in parentheses, centaurs were, erant, horses, equi. Technically but here for said. In English, you'd probably say that were having or had the head of a man. caput hominis. And again, caput is in the accusative, hominis is the genitive modifying caput. Habebant is an imperfect verb, so technically this is they were having the head of a man. That's not idiomatic in English, so if I were translating this to English, I would say they had the head of a man. Huic tamen arti minus diligenter sudebat. So he was minus diligenter, less diligently studying, or you could say he was less diligently eager. Studeo typically means to be eager for something. That's the gloss they give here. A lesser meaning for it is to study. In this case, I'd probably almost go with to study because it's talking about an art that he's studying less diligently. It comes over into English much better if you just say he was much less diligently studying this art. However, if you look at huic arti, that's actually in the dative. You get a text note here. And the reason for that is some verbs take the dative instead of the accusative. If you're using Wheelox, this is in chapter 35, they give you a whole list of the verbs that take dative. If you're reading for comprehension, you probably don't need to know that because you'd look like, oh, this art, he was studying less diligently. You'd probably figure it out based on context. Hic Linus, so this Linus, obiergabat, was scolding Hercules once. That, quote, he was not studios, non studiosus erat. Then, puer iratus, the angry boy, suddenly, subitu rapuit, took up or snatched the guitar, kitharum. Technically, this is a lyre or a kithara. The modern word guitar descends from kithara. Et omnibus viris caput magistri infelicis percussit. And he hit, percussit. If you think percussion, you're hitting drums. So he hit the head of the unhappy or unlucky teacher, magistri infelicis, genitive, both of them modifying caput. Omnibus viribus. You might see this and be like, oh, with all the men, that doesn't make sense. If this came from vir, it would be viris. This is from vis, so it's with all his strengths. We translate this as with all his strength. So this is vis in the plural ablative. Ile, that one, meaning Linus, prostratus est, was laid out, past passive participle plus est, by the stroke or by the blow, ictu, ablative, at Paulo post, a little afterwards, he went, excessit, out of life, evita. This right here is an idiom, meaning he died. He exited from life. And neither, neque, afterwards, postia, quisquam voluit, did anyone want, so quisquam is anyone, voluit is want, that's from vele to want, it's perfect, third person. So did no one want to undertake, suscipere, that duty, id officium. So no one wanted to try to teach Hercules a music lesson after what happened to Linus the Centaur.